Hey everybody, this is Rustin with Metalholic Magazine and Metal Nation Radio, and with us today, Neal Middleton of Royal Bliss. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. It's a nice day to have a day off. You guys don't have the day off. You guys are out on the road on your way to Cedar Rapids for tonight, I believe.
Yep, we're actually here, and it is snowy and shitty, and we already got the bus stuck one, so it's awesome.
Good way to kick off the tour, right?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Beautiful. Well, you guys have the new album, Chasing the Sun, comes out tomorrow, and I want to talk about that, of course. But in the meantime, now obviously that's part of us. Bring us up to date. What is going on in the land of Royal Bliss? There's a whole lot of stuff happening.
Oh yeah, we've been busy, man. With this new record that we did, Chasing the Sun, it was kind of almost accidental for the most part. I mean, we didn't realize we were recording a record. We were just kind of going in a couple weeks here, recording some songs, a couple weeks here, recording some songs, just seeing what we had. And then we kind of stepped back and looked at it. We're just like, oh shit, this is actually pretty damn good, and decided, like, hey, let's just release this as an album instead of trying to keep just recording and recording. But I mean, it was the most relaxed that we've ever done a record, I think, in a long, long time. And to do it at home was nice. And we started our own record label with our own distribution and everything else. So we've just been functioning just like an indie label would. And so it's cool not having anybody over our heads telling us what to do and how to do it. It's all Royal Bliss this time, and no one to mess up the recipe. So we're back to the roots.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, yeah, it had to be really nice to stay home in Utah and record this time, be close to family. It's got to be a little bit more relaxed.
It is, I mean, it's nice because you're with your families, you're not out, like that's the thing with doing it in a different city. It was cool because, I mean, it was all focused on music. But then again, you're out living in a different city for, whatever, 4 to 6 weeks or 2 months, and that's the time that you have allocated to make a record. So you're under a deadline where it's like you have to get this record done by this time and then go home. And you're away from your family. You don't get to go home and stay in your own bed or have dinner with folks or your kids. So, yeah, it was definitely the right way to do it with no pressure. And, like I said, we didn't realize that we were recording a record when we were doing it. So it was so relaxed, it just kind of happened.
Well, and you guys used Kickstarter for Chasing the Sun. You let the fans sort of help you put this whole record together. Obviously, it was quite successful. You guys were able to get it done. What are your thoughts on that whole Kickstarter idea? Because a lot more bands are using it.
I think it's great. I mean, it's one of those things where it allows bands to, keep doing what they love to do. And I mean, it's the fans are their label. Right. And so it's not such a horrible loan. The fans are buying, the pre-ordering the CD and pre-ordering things that mean a lot to them, and they're going to be a part of the process. Like, with the way that we did it, we actually built like a back-end area to our websites and Facebook page, like a secret group that the Kickstarters could be involved with. And they actually helped us pick out the album cover, and, we get to correspond with them if they have any questions or anything like that. Like, we can ask them questions as well to be like, hey, what do you think we should go on tour? What do you think the next single should be? And so we really involved them. Like, so, you have your record label of, 400 some odd people that are that's your core group. It's better to have 400 diehard fans working for you than some dude in an office that doesn't give a shit about your music. So I think it's great, and it's like the new way of doing things where, labels are a little bit worried about it, but even some labels want their bands to do Kickstarter and pledge campaign, because then they don't have to cough up the money. But we've had a great experience with it. I think everybody that got involved is enjoying how we're kind of running it, so it's been fun, and we definitely do it again.
Absolutely. Now, of course, then Kickstarter goes this last week and gets hacked. Does that concern you at all?
Yeah, it did suck because we were actually trying to send out all our CDs and stuff, and we weren't able to log into our accounts and check anything out, so we couldn't get anybody's addresses to mail them out all their new CDs and stuff, which was a definite bummer. That definitely worries you.
So, well, tell us about the new record, Chasing the Sun, from your perspective.
Well, I mean, it's, like I said, it was real free. you know, and it's a different record. Like, we actually have a couple different people that we wrote with for this record, like just local musicians in Utah. And again, it was one of those things where we didn't know. Like, I actually did 2 of the songs with a hip hop guy, and had no idea that it would end up on the Royal Bliss record. But the guys liked the song, and we kind of took it, did our own version of it, wrote, you know, a new verse and a bridge, and I wrote another song with Joel Pack, who's another local Utah artist, and we wrote one song with the guys from Candlebox, which is Welcome, the first song. And then the Jake, first time that Jake, our drummer, wrote all the music for one of the songs. I mean, it was really cool because it was a mix and very collaborative, you know, where everybody kind of put their hands in and put their love into it. And so it was a fun process. And for me, it was just, you know, more of me singing about my life and where I'm at. You know, a lot of things that are important to me, from family to, you know, the disdain of the industry, and the, you know, just personal experiences, like, you know, dealing with my wife, my tri sister, and you know, just I mean, I've always been extremely honest in the stories I tell, so it was cool to be at home where I'm a guy that hardly ever writes the lyrics until the night before I go in to record them. And so this time it was cool to be able to write the lyrics the night before, go and record them, and be able to really listen to them. And it's like, oh, okay, I need to go in and change this, and instead of having to fly to Nashville or something,
right,
I just go back down to the studio and be like, I'm just going to change a few little lines. So it was cool. I mean, it was, like you said, man, it was a loose and free experience this time.
Well, let's talk about a couple of songs on the album. Obviously, the first single, Cry Sister, has been out for a while. It's doing great on radio. Tell us about that track and the story on that one.
Well, that's another one that's very similar to our song Save Me that we had a while back, where basically I got hammered and got in a fight with the wife. And just one of those weekends where, you know, I got my demons, and so basically that song's just in a fight with the wife, and I was going to end it one way or another. And just kind of out of my head. Sometimes a lot of pressure gets to me, and I just kind of break down and lose it, and party all weekend and go on my 3-day bingers. And that was in the middle of one of those 3-day bingers, and so that was the thoughts that needed to come out of my head at that moment. I might tell my wife, I mean, I love her to death. She's amazing and amazing support, but, you know, she's a muse either way, either a song about love or a song about anger, because I love her, so she's able to whip out those emotions on me pretty easy.
Well, and that's always the thing. It's, you know, the person that you're closest to is always the person that can pull the most emotion out of you, whether it's positive or negative. And that's it's a very fine line to walk. And so many people give up so easily these days. So, you know, it's fast food romance, but
yeah. But it feels like it's so easy just to call it quits. But, you know, we got 2 kids, and we understand that it's not always easy. And we're going to have our ups and downs, and we've been through a lot. So we're almost up to 10 years together now. So it's like, all right, now, I'm not perfect by any means, and neither is she. So it's just working through our flaws.
Absolutely. So you guys did a video for that already, which was a very intriguing video. How did that come together, and what sort of little backstory going on there? Who came up with that idea?
Well, it was a concept basically based by Chris Lee, who did our Crazy video. And, you know, I kind of explained to him what the song meant, which was kind of, you know, like I said, end it one way or another. It's got a little suicidal kind of tendency to it in the lyrics and the thought behind it, where, and that's kind of what it is, you know, the angels are crying and things are breaking, and these beautiful statues and beautiful girls are crying black tears, and at the end the hawk, which pretty much represents me holding onto the microphone, flies off, and so it's kind of that concept of, you know, just me leaving one way or another, and you know, the statues of the world, you know, crumbling around me. But it was Chris Lee really came up with that concept, which is really cool. He totally got it. So we filmed that all in one day, and it was a fun experience.
Yeah, it was a great video. There's Ballad in the middle of the album there. Tell us the story behind Drink My Stupid Away.
Well, that's another one. It's about mainly just being on the road and missing my family, and you know, the struggles of, you know, I wish I could be there all the time for my wife and my kids. So I wish I could, you know, break myself in two, so, you know, one for the fans and one for my family. And it's like that, you know, like I get out on the road and it's just want to drink it all away sometimes, just get into it. Like, playing my stupid way, where I'm not, I'm just, it's crazy. It's hard to explain that, where when you're out on the road, it's extremely difficult, and you miss everybody, and you're in a traveling bus with 7 dudes in a hallway, and so sometimes the only way to cope with it, and not miss your family too much, and not think about your circumstances, just to party and drink and have a good time.
Yeah, how do you keep your sanity when you spend that much time on the road? And does stuff like social media, because you're now more interactive with your fans, does it give you more time to do that and give you a greater sense of camaraderie, get these guys out to the show and make them feel like they're a part of this?
Yeah, I mean, and we're trying to be even better with that, where we're all together during the day, that, we're talking about what we can do to make it more interesting, and what new ideas we can do for the website to make the fans excited, and who posted on what, where we're actually really working together to make sure that, that we're hitting every aspect of social media, because that's what you have to do nowadays in order to be a successful band. You got to hit it at all angles. So it's hard at times, because, you get in arguments, and there's obviously going to be differences of opinion. But at the end of the day, we're pretty much like a family. We've known each other a long time. And so it's, we will come to a compromise, and we're definitely, democratic in that, it's a vote, do we do this? And there's usually a fifth person that will involve if it goes 50-50 to be like, all right, well, what do you think? And it's funny, and we're trying to be better because we spend so much time sleeping off hangovers that we're deciding not to, that we need to slow that down. So instead we're actually working on the business side of things instead of sleeping off hangovers. Taylor's sitting across from me right now, actually going through a business book, because he's doing courses in college to learn more about business, because it's just part of the world nowadays. Like we're a small company, a small business, and we got to learn more about business than we do about music almost. I mean, we've studied our asses off on music, and now it's like, all right, I just want to continue to do what we love. We got to learn about the business even more.
Yep, absolutely. Because you guys have to do it all now. You're the record company, everything. So now you guys, well, first off, how much of the new album are fans going to get to hear out on the new tour?
Let me think here. How many songs are we actually playing on average? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, they're going to hear just about every song on the record, really. Maybe not 1 or 2, but we'll probably we're playing almost 8 new songs on a lot of these nights. Between 5 and 8 of the brand new ones will be on the set, depending on what, how long our set is. If we're doing a full hour and a half, we'll do about 8 of the new ones. And if we're doing just, a short 45 or 30, we'll probably do 3 or 4 of them. Nice.
So hopefully fans will get a good taste of the new. That always drives me nuts when a band goes out and they play like 1 song, 2 songs off the new album, and it's like, hey, I'm happy to hear the hits and all the stuff from the past, but I'm hungry for the new stuff too, and I want to hear it live.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm the same way. It's cool, like with our Drink My Stupid, like we're adding some elements, like Jake, our drummer's actually playing the keyboards on that. So he's up there playing the keys. He's going to try to play that on a few different songs, which is cool. And I'm trying to pick up the electric guitar more and the acoustic guitar and play along with the band too. So we're kind of adding some new elements just to spice it up a bit and test us.
Perfect. Now, you guys have built a pretty solid following through the mountain states in the West, but for those out there who haven't discovered Royal Bliss yet, can you give us some backstory on the band, sort of an overview of how it's all, because you guys have been together 16, going on 17 years now, and you guys have had some hurdles to overcome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've been through it all, and we've kind of been a band that's been, for the most part, DIY. We've always done it ourselves. We've had a few managers that have really helped us along with, some radio campaigns and things like that. And we were with Capitol Records for about 3 years, but that was in the middle of a merger, and they got bought out. And Jason Flom, who signed like Katy Perry, Saving Abel, and Royal Bliss, signed us all in the same year. And we were the last band for him to really focus on to, blow something up. Right. And then they got bought out. He left the label, so we were just kind of floating in the cosmos. And then we did a deal with Merovingian that's underneath Capitol, so stayed in the Capitol umbrella, but released out that way. But we've always kind of booked, most of our own tours, and we write all our own songs. And we're a band that we do it because we love it, and we've loved it since day one, and we still love it today. Where we don't see ourselves doing anything else, and we've constantly grown our fan base and grown our, our skills as musicians and songwriters. And it's one of those things where, you know, we put it all on the table every single night at every show, that we make sure that if you're going to spend the money or not waste your time, or spend the time to come watch us play, then we're going to give you the best show we possibly can, and it's going to be real, and it's going to be emotional, and we're going to leave it out there for you. So, I mean, we've been through everything from, I had to learn how to walk again because I fell off a building and lost the feeling in my legs, and got screwed back together with a bunch of metal in my hips and my spine, and learned how to, you know, be a normal human being again. And, you know, to accidents. And I mean, we just constantly have been through every bad luck scenario you can think of. But at the end of the day, we feel fortunate to still be doing what we love. And we have the most amazing fans in the world that support us and let us know how important we are to them. And we try to let them know how important they are to us. So we're a real rock and roll band, and we do it for the right reasons. So
nice.
That'd be one way to describe us.
Yeah, I mean, and I've heard some of the stories, the accidents, car accident, you falling off. It's just a whole ton of stuff, and you guys keep persevering and trooping on. And it's odd because I've been in this industry for 25 years, and somehow I've yet to see you guys perform live. And I'm living in Idaho these days, which is sort of a second home for you guys. You were just here in the other night.
We were just there.
And then you're coming back to Idaho Falls later on this tour. No Boise date as of yet, but I'll look forward to seeing you the next time you're here and we can actually sit down in person. But so a lot of this stuff was new to me because I didn't know the backstory on the band, and you probably talked about this a ton of times, but a couple of years ago, in 2012, you got a chance to be on The Voice. What was that experience like for you, and what did you take away from it?
I took away that I didn't want to be a part of that world. Really. It was, you know, it's kind of just one of those things where we had a record that was pretty much finished, but we couldn't figure out how we were going to release it. We didn't have a lot of plans. I mean, we're kind of almost at a plateau in our career. And we had just lost a bass player, and we were having difficulties with our guitarist at the time. And it was just one of those things. I brought it up to the band. You guys think I should do it? And I thought that, you know, it was season 2, and the first season seemed to be, you know, pretty legit about musicians and about music and about true talent. And so I was like, all right, this show actually seems legitimate out of all of them, that is actually based on people that dedicate their lives to playing music. And so I was like, okay, if I go on there, if I make it at all, and then, yeah, hopefully it'll raise some attention to Royal Bliss. But in the end, they didn't mention Royal Bliss at all, and made it look like it was the end of the line and all this other shit. And it was really weird. Like, they try to get you to play a character, like, you know, basically play yourself, but they want you to play it up so much.
Right.
And it was extremely artificial. You know, they pick the songs for you and tell you what to sing and all that shit. So when I finally got out of it and got my head out of the clouds, it was just like, oh man, I can't believe I did that. But I'm glad I did. You know, it was an experience, and I went, and it was an honor to be like the talent on that show that you don't even get to see. Half the people that don't make it are some of the most talented people I've ever met. And so at least I got to walk away with some new friends and some people that, you know, I still keep in touch with, that I hope to be doing some shows and writing some songs with in the future. So at the end of the day, I'm glad. I mean, it was a cool experience for the most part. But yeah, I'd never do something like that again.
Yeah, I always watch that stuff, and I'm like, this is how we ended up with people like Nicki Minaj and Justin Bieber, is the stupidity of shows like that where they think they have some sense of what talent is, and most of the people that we consider talented these days would never make it on those shows. You know?
Yeah, right.
So,
exactly.
All right, so before we get out of here, just for fun, you can go get ready for your show. The pointless question of the week. Let's see. How about what television series are you hopelessly addicted to?
Shameless. Have you ever seen that show?
I haven't seen the show. I've heard of it.
Holy shit, that show's nuts, man. It's on Showtime, but it's just out of control. Like, you just can't. It's just something horrible happens every like 5 minutes, but it seems like, you know, really legitimate and real, like about how it probably is, and, you know, the darker sides of Chicago. But yeah, I love that show. It's badass. If you get a chance to watch it, just watch it. I think you'll leave with your jaw dropped most of the time.
Awesome. Neal Middleton of Royal Bliss, thanks so much for taking the time. The new album, Chasing the Sun, out tomorrow, February 18th, everywhere, out on the road right now, hopefully for the better part of the year, getting the music out there. We appreciate you taking the time, brother.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for writing about us.